A country's name is an important part of its identity. It's hard to imagine the United States of America being called anything else. Yet, if you travel to a country that speaks another language, the name will change. In Spanish, it becomes Los Estados Unidos, and in French, it's États-Unis. But both of those are just literal translations of United States of America. Other countries, though, can have very different names in different languages. And no country has the name diversity of Germany. The English word Germany and names like it all come from the Latin Germania, which is what Romans called the region. Germania originally referred to the area of land past the Rhine River, and its first written use comes from Julius Caesar himself. There's no consensus as to where the word Germania comes from, however, though it might have been from the Gauls. The Germans themselves call the country Deutschland, and there are many other countries that have adopted this name. The name descends from a combination of Deutsch, coming from Old High German Deutsch, meaning of the people, and Land, which means, well, land. Other names for Germany come from various tribes that lived in roughly the same area that Germany exists in today. Some names, like the Finnish Saksa, come from the Saxon tribe, who originated near the German area but flourished more when reaching England. Even more names for Germany come from the Kingdom of Allemagne, which existed in part of the land that is modern-day Germany from the 3rd to the 6th centuries CE. The Alemagne's lasting legacy is the countries that use the name Allemagne to refer to Germany, such as the French Allemagne and the Spanish Alemania. The last broad category are those names for Germany like the Polish Niemcy, derived from a Proto-Slavic word meaning not able to speak or the silent ones. One theory is that Germans were called this because the Slavs refer to themselves as keepers of the words. Thus, foreigners would have been mute because they didn't speak the language. A country's various names reveal a lot about the history of the country. While country names are messy and can change over time, if the original name does stick, it can show when people who spoke the language first came into contact with that country. The Navajo, for instance, called Germany Be'esh Bikayi Bikeya, meaning metal cap wearer land, referring to the helmets soldiers would wear. The name alone says a lot about when and how the Navajo first came into contact with Germans. The Lakota also have a weird name for Germany, Iyášiča Makļóčhe, meaning bad speaker land. That's still not as bad as the name for the Netherlands, Iyášiča Makļóčhe, which is really bad speaker land. Meanwhile, countries like those in East Asia that may have first come into contact with Germans as traders tend to stick closer to Deutschland. It's an imperfect way to learn about a country's history, but the patchwork of names for old countries is a map of historical interactions. At the very least, it's worth looking past a country's name once in a while to find out exactly what it means.